Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Fantasy Tip Show, Game Week 20 review and Game Week 21 preview. As usual, I have the FPL graduates back with me, and I have Ray back with me again today. Ben, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. It's been a crazy day over at FPL Graduates HQ. So glad to see another game week done.
I can tell. Josh, how are you?
Yeah, I've had better days, let's say that. But yeah, we move.
Awesome. And Ray, you've been on every single show on this channel. Prediction show, Arsenal shows. Second time we think in the Fantasy Tip Show. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. It was a terrible week, so I'm just running away with a short rank drop and run all the way back to the bank, I think.
Awesome. So obviously we'll start with the terrible points first before we get into the best, yours truly and stuff. So Josh, we'll start with you. You already have your team ready. I can't see it, so I'll try to get it up. Ben, let's go through the results first. Ben, sorry. If you can just
I'll go to my team. I'll go to my team. It's fine.
Guys,
you know what? I'll brave it because it's not been a good week for me, and I've got to face my fears sooner rather than later. So I got 44 points this week. Not good at all. It was looking quite rosy when I had Cancelo transferred in this week on a -4, and I've also brought in Maddison on that -4 as well. So it wasn't a great week. Cresswell on target made that start of the week seem so good, and Antonio as well, hitting the post 3 times. I mean, he could have had a hat-trick on another day. Bruno Fernandes played really deep, and I didn't like that. Pogba in the team forced Bruno Fernandes back and meant I didn't get any points from my captain pick, which is frustrating. Son and Kane, I wasn't expecting too much from them, but obviously that disallowed Tottenham goal is even more frustrating. And Salah as well, I believe, wasn't there a disallowed goal for Liverpool as well that Salah was involved in?
Yeah, so it was a bit dodgy as well.
Even more frustrating that it could have been like potentially a 50, 60 point week and looking kind of all right, but we roll with effectively 40 points after the -4 taken, an average week where not really any of the big hitters returned any sorts of points. So it's a bit disappointing.
Yeah, Ray, what do you make of his team?
Yeah, start of the week, I like it. The Cancelo one, it almost seems like week by week, isn't it? Like if he plays, you feel like he's gonna haul in. I was extremely concerned who would haul this week, so I almost took a -4 to bring him in, but I didn't. Looking at his team, I think you've got all the right players. Have you used your free hit chip?
I think I have, yeah. I used that on the blank game week, but I've got all the other chips available.
Brilliant. So I think you've set yourself up really nicely. I think the Harry Kane one has just screwed us all, isn't it? All the premiums are going, so yeah, you've probably got some thinking to do there. Possibly, I'm sure DCL is probably coming into your thoughts like a lot of us. But I think moving forward, you've got a decent team. But yeah, considering the kind of week, I think 40 points is only 2 points below the average, I think that's what it's going to work out to be. So yeah, I think it's a good team moving forward.
Awesome. Josh, team is next.
Yeah, so a little bit worse than Ben for me this week. Like Ben said, it did start off pretty decent. We had Cresswell, Antonio do well. I had Stones, no Cancelo for me, unfortunately, but I had Sterling. I went for Glen's advice, and it actually paid off. In the first half, I was not happy, but he picked up in the second, so that's all that matters. For a guy to get a goal and an assist in the game and not get bonus points just goes to show how well City played that game. So a bit unlucky there. And with the rest of it, I can't really say much about it. It's a bit of a shambles, to be honest. Double Southampton defence doesn't look too great right now. Got a few injuries back there. So I'll be looking to offload probably Bednarek rather soon, probably this week. Son disallowed goal, Salah disallowed goal. United losing at home to Sheffield United. It's been a pretty terrible week for me. I'm not going to lie to you.
When I had that 2.7 million managers that captained Bruno and I was so happy when that game was over. So you also captained Bruno, right?
Yeah. It was just one of those situations where too many people captained him. So if he did get any sort of points, I would have been struggling, to be honest.
Yeah, I remember when Gundogan scored the second goal and I tweeted you guys and Dre was like, I told you to bring in Gundogan. You're very right at that time, right?
Yeah, it weren't good, but I think Gundogan was quite a risk because obviously I had De Bruyne, so I didn't really want about 6-7 million just sat there. I thought it would be a bit of a waste because I didn't want to take a hit. But obviously, in hindsight, it was probably the best move you could have done.
Yeah. So Ben, do you think that team deserves more points? It's just an unlucky week.
I think it's a bit of an unlucky week. The double up on Southampton was always going to be a risk, especially with the injuries they have at the back. Kyle Walker-Peters out. I believe Bertrand was out as well, and there's a few other Southampton players injured and missing. So it's probably an area I'd look to strengthen. But also up front, you've got to look at Bamford, and is he going to get many returns with Leeds playing the way they are? Personally, I don't see it. I know I've had an agenda since the start of the season against Bamford and Leeds, but that is a concerning area that I'd probably look to bring in. Maybe like Ray said, DCL is definitely an option.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. You can bring up my team next, Josh.
Yeah.
We'll
go into the FPL Graduates League. Bear with me 2 minutes.
You'll have to be scrolling. You'll have to be scrolling a lot.
I didn't want to do you dirty like this.
I think it's all the way at the bottom. Yeah, I think it's I think it's the 10th page.
God, what a week this is!
I'd rather be bottom going up than being up and going down. I'd rather be in the second part, like Josh's team, United up going down and us down going up. I'd rather be in that position. So obviously, I smashed it, as you can see. That's because when you have Arsenal players, you're gonna do well. So I thought Saka was a definite one to have. Ben, I don't know why you guys have never considered him. So in goal, Areola. I remember 2 weeks ago I asked Ben, should I get Areola, yes or no, on their show, and they said his response was, just because Areola has a double game week, you don't have to get him. I was like, okay. And I went and I pressed Areola in, Pickford out, and the rest is history. 10 points this week. I had a Brighton defender on the bench coming on, and Areola, I was praying that game ended in a 0-0 draw. I was literally praying that it ended in a 0-0 draw. Tierney was out, so meaning Webster would be coming in for him, which probably is a good thing. I don't think Tierney would have kept a clean sheet even if he was there. Kofal didn't expect a lot from the Crystal Palace game. Saka, Fernandes disappointing, but thank goodness I didn't captain him. Sterling, 22 points. Josh taking my advice absolutely well, because West Brom conceded a bunch of goals at the Hawthorns. They conceded a bunch of goals. So Sterling, I didn't like his positioning though in that game. Other people were getting themselves in the box and he was like outside the box and stuff. So lucky to get those returns. Son, disappointing tonight. Kane, disappointing, going off injured. Wilson, I didn't even know he got the assist against Leeds. I think I was watching Chelsea Wolves or something. I was watching a different game and then I had Almiron scored. I didn't know Wilson got the assist. Lacazette should have had more, to be fair. He should have had more. So Ben, my 73 points in this week. I am very happy. 600k rank increase. So Ben, my question is, I remember you said it could be good for this week, but what about the future? So what changes would I be making there?
I mean, how many points did Areola get in that double game week?
He got 5.
He got 5. I had him as well. Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad of a pick, but I know we said before that Scott Parker has got that Fulham team a lot more defensively solid. So you can argue for a cheap option, set and forget, one to look out for. But Fulham, you always kind of feel with the team and how we've seen them play the last time they're up in the Premier League, you always get that nagging feeling that somewhere along the line they're going to concede a load of goals. I don't know whether I see that come in the short term, in the short space of games, but over the longer period of time, maybe have a look at that. But yeah, the captaincy pick stands out as exceptional to me. The Saka pick, obviously, he's really returning a lot of points at the moment. So you've done well with the Arsenal boys there, and yeah, you've picked the right City assets to own.
Awesome. And Ray, just a quick one. Any surprises from that team before you go into your team?
No, not really. I think your defense and midfield is brilliant. Differential yet solid as well. I think Areola is a fantastic pick. I had him on the bench, unfortunately, but I think just moving forward, I think Wilson. Well, I think your whole strike line, you might have to possibly start to plan going ahead what changes to make because Newcastle is terrible. Kane, we don't know, and Lacazette. We got a couple of tough fixtures coming up, but otherwise, I think midfield going back really solid.
Awesome. I have had struggles bringing up your team, but I hope you can still remember it. But just
if you don't want to bring it up, it's fine. I have no issues whatsoever.
Move on. I brought it up, but I didn't have time to edit it. We need to see it. We need to see it. Is it a thought yet?
It's cutting across everyone's face pretty much. So
no problem. Just go ahead.
So I was feeling pretty damn good about myself, obviously, because I've been shouting about Gundogan for a few weeks, and I bought him in for KDB. And Reece James, I really thought he was going to start, and when he didn't start, I got very angry because I could see a clean sheet coming up. So with Gundogan and Target, I was feeling pretty damn good about myself, and then Villa decided to just completely leak all the goals going back. I think I've gotten away with only a 30k drop, to be honest with you. So I'm just outside 200,000. Got a lot of money in the bank, about 6.5 million. So I was planning to get Che Adams in, but now we don't know. Kane in for Che Adams. But I think my team is built pretty well going forward. I only have really the wild card and the triple captain left. So I think I really need to have a think about Che Adams and Bamford because between them, they haven't returned in 8 games between them. And I don't really know who to bring in for striker now because I was planning on Kane and I was planning on Diaz next 2 weeks. Next 2 changes for the coming game week. So, any advice is more than welcome, please.
Hey, I have Josh and Ben for that. Ben?
From what I can see, the Chelsea aspect, you're going to have to look at how Tuchel lines up in the next few weeks as to whether that's going to be a good option. I know there's a few surprises in that starting lineup, especially defensively. Looking at the improvements to make, the forward line, again, it's following a similar theme for all of us, really, is where we can see the improvements. Your midfield's really good and solid. I think all them players on any given game week can haul massively. So looking at the strike force, again, it's Bamford and Adams. Which strikers to get in? It's a tough one at the moment. I can see in a few weeks the new Wolves striker, Willian Jose, potentially being a good option as almost like a Raul Jimenez emulator. So one to keep in mind of if he starts. And Bamford and Adams probably the only 2 that I'd look to get out of an otherwise quite strong team.
Different advice, Josh?
I'd have to. Well, I agree totally with Ben's advice. And looking at everyone's teams, I think it could be a time maybe to just start playing one striker up front. Because right now, for value for money, those 6 million strikers, there's not really many there other than Antonio right now. So it's an argument maybe to go 5 in midfield and 4 in the back. You've seen a lot of City clean sheets and stuff. But it's interesting you got Villa double up in defence. Obviously, they did look solid throughout the whole season, and them conceding 3 to Burnley, that must have really not been a good watch for you. But other than that, I think you've got a very solid team, as Ben said, and it's just those strikers that I think everyone is struggling to deal with right now.
Yeah.
Listen, do you have Lacazette?
He's too expensive, man. I'm not paying 8 million for Lacazette.
Forget
in
about
my heart,
Glenn,
in my heart, I have Lacazette. Yeah, in my heart.
Okay, bring in Lacazette. He'll score a brace against Josh's team this weekend. Believe me.
Oh, look! They get 2 wins on the bounce, and now look at them.
Awesome. So, Ben, you have the fixtures for the next game.
So this is what it's looking like here: Everton, Newcastle, Palace, Wolves, Man City against Sheffield United. The standout fixture before that United against Sheffield United game, but obviously Josh knows what happened in that game. West Brom, Fulham, Arsenal against United, the big one for the weekend. Southampton, Villa, Chelsea, Burnley, Leicester, Leeds, West Ham, Liverpool, Brighton, Spurs. Some really interesting fixtures actually this week, and one that's going to throw up a lot of different captaincy options. I think it's going to be a lot of different captains this week.
Yeah, Ray, which fixtures are you targeting this week?
In terms of fixtures that I'm targeting,
No, let's go with Ray. Let's go with Ray first.
So was that Glenn?
Ray, let's go with Ray first.
Me first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apart from obviously Arsenal United, being an Arsenal fan, Everton Newcastle really intrigued me because the way they're playing, they kind of have the players back now. In Digne, well, everyone's pretty much back to service DCL. So Digne and Calvert-Lewin are definitely on my radar. Man City, Sheffield United, it's not really one on my radar from an FPL aspect. And obviously the Chelsea Burnley, because I agree with what Ben said. I'm very tempted to just take out Reece James and bring in Diaz now, because I think City will get another couple of clean sheets. So, yeah, the ones I'm really looking forward to, Chelsea, Burnley, Everton, Newcastle, those are the two ones from an FPL aspect.
Josh?
Yeah, for me, before tonight, I was looking at Brighton Spurs for captaincy. Brighton conceded a hell of a lot of goals at home, and Son is was my captain option. Whether Harry Kane is out or not, we have to wait and see for that game. I think if he is out, I will probably not captain Son, and it's just a question of who do I captain then going forward, because obviously Mo Salah, unlucky not to return, but he still hasn't returned in the Premier League. Bruno Fernandes been a bit poor. United obviously losing to Sheffield United. I don't think anyone really saw that coming. So yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. City against Sheffield United. I don't think they'll win like they did against West Brom. I think it'll be a little bit tighter than that, but they will definitely take the points there.
I think they'll win big. Ben?
Yeah, you've got to target that Man City game, not for almost, it's weird to say after City scored so many goals, not for the attacking players. I think you've got to attack that City game from a defensive perspective and look to bring in a double up on that City defence. I think Sheffield United, although they've struggled to score this season, they scored almost a third of their Premier League goals against Manchester United the other night. I still think they're going to struggle to score goals. Manchester United gave them so many opportunities, and Manchester City won't do the same. In terms of other fixtures that you've got to look to target, it's not too many that you'd feel confident on. I mean, West Ham against Liverpool, West Ham look good at the moment, and likewise in the Spurs game, Spurs don't look too great going forward. So you might want to target that Leicester fixture, because in the previous game, Leicester tore Leeds apart. So that's the only other fixture I could see really targeting.
But without Vardy, I'm intrigued how they're going to attack, isn't it? Like, who's going to finish off those chances?
They starting Perez up front now. So I mean, he's not quite a Vardy, but over the past few game weeks, even with Vardy in, he hasn't actually returned too many times. So hopefully for my FPL sake, that they do get those attacking returns.
I'm going to agree with Ray. That Everton-Newcastle game is tempting me very much. I don't think Newcastle will do very well in that game. And although it's an early kickoff, I usually don't like going all in on an early kickoff. It could just ruin your weekend totally. But the other fixtures, it could be any person's win. West Brom, Fulham, any team could win that. Palace, Wolves, any team could win that. Arsenal United, any team could win that. Southampton, Villa, any team could win that. So it's all over the place. But I was targeting Spurs, Brighton, but now that Kane is injured, you really never know. And West Ham is not an easy team facing Liverpool. West Ham is a really tough team. So for me, probably Everton, Newcastle. So let's get into the FPL focus for this week. We did, which team did you do the other day? Was it Leicester? You guys agreed on some individuals. Some you didn't really like, the likes of Iheanacho. So the FPL focus for this week is Crystal Palace. So what I usually do, Ray, I usually ask, would you have him in on a wildcard, yes or no? So the first player we're going to talk about is Crystal Palace's goalkeeper, Ray Guaita. Would you get him in on a wildcard?
Hold on. Let me look at the FDR quickly. What's his current price? About 5.1?
Yeah, around 5.
No, I wouldn't. Not for that price. I think there are better options out there. But if I already had him, I would obviously keep him because he is a good goalkeeper. But I think for that money, you can look at other goalies, and I don't trust Crystal Palace.
That's all okay, Josh.
Yeah, I have to agree with Ray. They haven't been as defensively solid as they have been in previous seasons. They've been scoring a lot more, but they've been conceding a lot more. So, and yeah, like the likes of McCarthy, Areola, there's much more keepers around 4.5 million that will do a much better job, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's 4.8 right now, Ray. He's gotten 64 points this season, owned by only 3.2%. So, Ben, is he a good option?
There's a reason why he's so low owned, to be honest, and that's because Palace are a bit leaky at the back. Last season, you would have said yes, but this season, with the price rise that he's been given, it just doesn't make him so viable. If he was still getting loads and loads of points, you'd say yes, but because he's not quite getting those points, it's a no for me.
That was why did I even bother putting him in there? It's because I didn't have any other Crystal Palace to put in their players. They're not that good. I don't know if McTavius is watching this, Ray, but they're not that good. I mean, let's be honest.
I ain't sharing it with him. He'll have a go at me.
Ben, I'll start to do the next one. Mitchell, he was on everyone's team in the first 5 game weeks.
Yeah, and for good reason as well. He was starting and getting points, and for 3.9, he's come back into the team over the past you look at the past few game weeks, and where he gets starts, but he doesn't get points. He had a long period of time without having any starts at all. Must have been from game week 3 all the way through to game week 15. He didn't start any of those games, and he has started the past 5 game weeks. So definitely an option. I'd say if you've got no budget left for a defender, he's probably one of the better ones to go for, because recently he has been getting a few points, clean sheets here and there. So one of them ones, probably on a wild card, you'd want to get him in for the value. I wouldn't argue against getting him.
Josh?
Yeah, I'd 100% have him in. If I was doing a wild card today, he'd be straight in there. For 3.9 million, a defender that plays 90 minutes, it's just an instant yes. You'd say that all day. He reminds me of Wan-Bissaka when he was at Crystal Palace, and he was 4 million. I'm sure a few of you probably remember. He was just ridiculous pickup. It was like Lundstrom a little bit, where he obviously played in defence. He was picking up points left, right, and centre. And because of his price being so low, it seems like I know it doesn't make an effect, but it seems like he gets a bit higher in the bonus. So, I'd definitely have him in. Even to warm the bench, it's just an obvious yes.
Ray, Mitchell?
Yeah, I have to regurgitate what the guy said. I think with Patrick Van Aanholt having those issues with his contract, Hodgson kind of dropped him until he kind of makes a decision, because he's out of contract in the summer. And I must say, whenever I see Mitchell play, I'm very impressed. I actually think he's a good defender. And at 3.9, if I was wildcarding today, hands down, he'd be in my squad, and can come in for a few fixtures. So, absolutely.
Yeah, Josh, you and Ben have a few fans. Red Cloud says you packed Lamb. That's great. I'm assuming he's talking about FIFA. Ben, but Ben is a legend. But I'll tell you, one position is not a legend. When it comes to the cup, as Shiv says, we stop talking about Ben. We put him on the side because he's never in the cup.
No, we stopped talking about the cup now.
Shiv has put it in the chat. It's not me. You're out of the cup, Josh?
Yeah, this is the last hurrah for me this week, I'm afraid.
Ray, how about you? How have you done in the cup?
Oh, I focus on the league, so I didn't.
Thank you. Someone who focuses on the league.
Let me tell you, the first round opponent was ranked like 70,000, and I was like, Jesus Christ!
Wow.
And he absolutely battered me. It wasn't even funny. He almost doubled my score.
I lost to a Lacazette captain, so it makes it even worse.
Deservedly, because you had talked so much smack about Arsenal, so deservedly.
Almost hadn't returned all season, and then goes and scores 2 goals. Beyond belief.
Ray, I'm really disappointed in you. Arsenal fans, you always do very well in cup competitions. I'm still there, but I was very, very lucky, especially after the first day. I checked my opponent's team. He had Sushek and he had Cancelo. I was like, I'm out. Then I can't make these jokes anymore. But then Josh, Lacazette and Saka stepping up, Areola stepping up. I was very lucky. I think I beat him by 5 points or something. But let's go back into the Crystal Palace players. The third one, Josh, is going to be Andros Townsend.
I'm not sure what price it is. I think it's around 5.5, maybe just a little bit less. Probably decent a couple years ago when he was banging form. I wouldn't say much so now. I think attacking wise in that Crystal Palace team, there's definitely two better options than him, Eze and Zaha. So, and especially around 5.5 million when you've got the likes of Souček getting 14 points, Rafinha, Saka, like there's literally 5.5 million. There are a stupendous amount of players right now. So yeah, he's the definite no. There's so much better out there.
He's 5.6 and he's only selected by 1.3%. This season, 58 points. He's only scored 1 goal and 3 assists. And literally the last 5 game weeks, he's played 90 minutes, 78, 65, and he hasn't picked up any returns. So very, very terrible. Ben Townsend?
Yeah, I mean, four returns in 20 game weeks really says everything you need to know about him. I'm pretty much agreeing with Josh. There's better options around that price point at different clubs. I don't think you can rely on Townsend really. So big no from me.
Ray, I'm sure you're going to echo that.
Yeah, full house, really. I mean, he only got back in the team because Schlupp got injured. And I think Crystal Palace might entertain playing a 4-3-3. And then I just can't see Townsend playing at all. And yeah, the players cheaper than him who are a lot better.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the ones that you might say yes to, Ben. So the next one is Wilfred Zaha. Now, if he has that hairstyle I saw the other day, I am not getting him into my team because that was a terrible hairstyle. If he has that hairstyle, I'm not getting. Not that one on screen right now, but the other one he had the other day, very, very terrible. I used to have him before he got the illness and he went off, and he actually got me 18 points against West Brom away. He got me another return against Fulham away. 13 points, 18 points, very, very well. 9 points and 9 goals this season, 3 assists on 99 points, 7.2 prize and 14.8 selected by. So Ben, Zaha.
I'm gonna have to be a bit negative here since game week 11. So in where he got, what was it, game week 11 got 18 points, didn't he? And since then he's only returned in any sort of form twice since then. Yeah. So in 9 game weeks at that price point, you'd expect a bit more consistency. So it's a difficult one because Zaha, if Crystal Palace do win and do score, usually it's through Zaha and he picks up bonus points when they do win. But I wouldn't be relying on a Crystal Palace team like that who rely so heavily on Zaha. I just don't think he's going to get as many points as the likes of Grealish and those sorts of options around that price point.
Okay, Josh, Zaha.
I'm a bit 50-50. I think he's a fixture player. That's when you need to bring him in. If he has a good run of fixtures, he's probably the man to go for. He's very explosive. He can get goals, assists, like you name it, he'll do it. I think the thing that puts me off me the most, I think me and you agree with it, Glenn, is he's just so prone to getting a yellow card. He always wants to start a fight or something like that. It's just not what you want to see. And like those points can really change like your league position. I know it sounds so stupid, but it really can. So it's a bit 50-50. Would I get him in right now? No, but if they had a good run of fixtures, I'd 100% consider it.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. Those yellow cards always really bother me, and that's why I really don't really like him. Sometimes he's on 3 bonus points and then gets a silly yellow card, and then that drops to 2. That 1 point is very, very crucial. Ray, Zaha?
So looking at his stats, I mean, he's got 12 returns in 17 games, which includes 9 goals. So on paper, he's been brilliant. But I think Zaha's the biggest troll. Last season, I had him for like that glorious 8 fixtures he had on paper, and I think he got 2 returns. So for me, I just don't think I can bear that pain again because he frustrates me when I watch him play because he's a wonderful player. But I kind of agree with what the lad said, that I think someone like Jack Grealish, it doesn't matter who he plays, he always looks brilliant, and he's one of the best players this season overall. So I would say no based on that, but also I do feel Zaha's a troll.
So Josh says it's a fixture player. That's why you're doing Crystal Palace today, because he has Wolves at home, Newcastle away, Leeds away, Burnley at home, Brighton away, Fulham at home. And even after that, there's a West Brom home game there. So very, very good fixtures. So does that mean you're going to bring Eze, Ben?
It's another one. I really did look at him and consider him when he first went to Crystal Palace, because a really exciting player, and he puts up some really good numbers in the Championship last season. Looking at him at the moment, I think it's another one. If Palace get into a vein of good form, it's going to be centered around Zaha and Eze. So Eze is one that you'd probably want to go for if Palace can get into some good form, but they're not looking too great at the moment. With I know there's some nice fixtures coming up, but I'd still look and be like, is he really going to get me the points? And are Palace really going to get the win? Because it's a team that you don't trust. I don't trust Palace.
Yeah. Honestly, Ray, this guy is owned by less than 1%. He's a major differential. Ray.
Okay. So you want my thoughts? Okay.
Yeah. Who'd you get him?
Wonderful footballer. I think he's a fantastic young player, and I watched him a bit last season at QPR, and I thought he's fantastic. As an FPL asset, no, not at all, because pretty much what Ben said, it's all going to go around Zaha, and it's almost like feed the ball to Zaha, I feel. So he'll always make the pass before the assist. So I'd say no. And at 5.8, I think he's too expensive. I don't think he should be that much, personally. I'd rather go for Saka, Souček, or Rafinha, personally.
This quickly reminds me of the time me and Ben and Josh did Newcastle. They literally said no to everyone. I was like, why are you
picking these teams?
By the end of the season, I want to have done every single team. So I've already done 13 teams. So there are like 7 teams remaining. So that's why, Josh, why am I picking Crystal Palace players? Because you're not picking Eze, are you?
FPL wise, no, but he's an interesting watch. Like, you could happily sit down and have him in your FPL team and enjoy watching him play. He's on set pieces, which is a big plus over Zaha, considering there's about $1.5 million difference between them. So I don't think he's like we said. There's so many good options at 5.5 right now. It's hard to say yes, but I could see him probably picking up a bit of form and being in and around those players very soon, especially with the fixtures that you named coming up. Yeah,
that's why I pick these teams. Ray, because of the fixtures. I usually just wait for the fixture. So believe it or not, there's a time I had 3 Crystal Palace players in my team. I used to have Scott Dunn, Wilfred Zaha, and I think Ayew in the same week. And there's a week they all returned. I think it was against Man United, Josh, when they scored against you guys, Ayew and Zaha. And then there's a time Scott Dunn scored his first goal in like 3 years. I had them all, but the illnesses and stuff, that's why I took them out. I might have already had them until now. So any other options from there? I won't ask Ben because clearly he doesn't like Palace. Josh, any other options from Palace?
I don't think so. I think Mateta's going to be an interesting one. He's obviously just come in from Mainz. He's quite cheap as well. I think he's around 6 million. He's been banging in goals in the Bundesliga for a pretty average team as well. So it'll be interesting to see if he can settle into that team. Something Palace has been lacking for quite a while is an efficient and clinical striker, and I think he could generally be an answer to that. It's just going to be wait and see, I think, though, for the time being. Palace need to pick up form before they even come into consideration.
Awesome. Then the last topic you're going to do is the captain picks, and then 2 questions from the chat. But first, GGMU TV, that's your team, Josh. You're welcome. Red Cloud was asking where FPL graduates they're here. And HD9 says consistency. Thank you, but I can only do that to people like Ben and Josh and Ray who always come when they're asked on. So I appreciate you guys. So a couple of questions from the chat. I'll start with you, Ray. Samuel asks best Kane replacements.
That's a tough one.
It was because I was all set to bring in bloody Kane. I got so angry. I'd say it would be Watkins, who looks like he's back in form again, and he always gets chances every game because there's so much creativity. Calvert-Lewin, I think because he's going to get the service at least, and they have half-decent fixtures. And Antonio, because he's just a beast. So I think it would be one of those three personally.
This is such an interesting time in FPL. No Kane, no De Bruyne, no Jota. Who am I forgetting? No, Vardy hasn't been there. Vardy is such an interesting time. So surely, Ben, this is time for Iheanacho. Let's go back to the Iheanacho talk.
Oh my God.
It's time for Iheanacho.
I got to go, guys.
There's
Bye.
no other striker.
I'm not too sure what this agenda is, to be honest.
I know, right?
There's no other strikers. Come on.
He wants to shut down his channel.
I mean, I'm just going to move on and pretend you never did that. That's what I'm going to do.
It was clickbait.
I don't know. I think other strikers. You look at Willian Jose of Wolves. If he can get starts and get in a good run of form, Cavani, if he can get starts as well, he always looks dangerous when he's on the pitch for Man United, and as an aerial threat, he's always there. I do like the look of Cavani. I think Ings is, again, he's been injury prone this season, hasn't he? A definite option, but you got to think short term. Who can you get in if he gets injured? I think that's the only problem. If Werner can develop under Thomas Tuchel, another one you got to look at. But yeah, there's not too many strikers, and we were saying this at the start of the season as well. There's not actually that many good strikers to choose from in FPL this season.
I agree. I think it's all about midfield, isn't it, this season?
Josh, you had anything to add into that?
I'd move the money elsewhere. I wouldn't even bother looking, because realistically, like, even if you get a Watkins, you get Antonio. Antonio's a good pick, but he's got Liverpool at home this week, so I can't see him returning there. I just move the money into defence. I think getting double City defence, if you haven't already, that's crucial. And also, there's a plethora of midfielders you can choose from. And I think having two strikers right now, if you have three strikers right now, you need to definitely offload them, because it's just not the way forward at the minute.
He's really trying to make me offload Lacazette. I see what he's trying to do. So for the next three, I'm just going to give you one each, because if you go person per person, you're going to be here for a while, and I want to let you guys go. So I'll start with you, Ray. Shiv asks Bamford replacements.
Yeah, Antonio. Yeah, certainly Antonio.
Awesome. And then Josh, could Ings be a good differential?
If he's fit, maybe. There's a lot of injuries in that Southampton team right now, so I think even like you said, Lacazette is probably a better option.
And then Ben Kyle asks an interesting question: should you start planning for the double game weeks already?
Yeah, I would. I would start looking at players you want to bring in for the double game week. Don't center yourselves around the double game week. Make sure you don't overlook these fixtures coming up, because obviously that will also have as big an impact on your rank as a double game week will. So start thinking about it, start planning towards it. That's my advice going forward with that.
Can see a late question asking about Robo and Trent. Josh, did you get any of them, or today was just a one-off?
Yeah, especially with Trent, like before today, he's looked very poor, especially defensively. Even still, Liverpool haven't kept the clean sheet. I know that you get them for the attacking returns, but for me, they have to seriously step it up, especially with these City defenders at like over $1 million cheaper. I think they have to really step it up and be returning weekly in order for me to get them in.
Awesome. Last topic, Ben. Game week 21 captain picks. Who are you captaining?
I mean, it's a tough one now because of the Kane situation. Because is he? I mean, I wasn't watching the game, so I don't know if did it look serious, or was it?
He kind of did both ankles. He did one ankle.
So I've had Mourinho.
So the likelihood is he's going to be out for a little while. So
yeah, he said a couple of weeks. Mourinho just said a couple of weeks. He's gone on his
I'd almost be tempted by a City defender captaincy. I'm strongly considering it. Either Cancelo or Ruben Dias, someone like that as a captaincy, which start of the season you're thinking defender on the captaincy is crazy. But, other than that, I can maybe see a case to say Son, but like you say, what Spurs going to be like without Kane. They could struggle.
Yeah, I mean, Ray, yesterday on Graham's channel, I did say Walker because I think he's going to play this game and he's going to return. So are you also going for a City defender, or are you going more, that bold yet?
I think right now it's kind of shield tactic, just make sure that you let the points tick while we're trying to work out what the hell's going on. So my idea was to get Kane in for -4 and captain him, but I think I'm definitely bringing in Diaz, probably for James, and I'm probably going to captain him because I want those points, and I think he's due. He looks dangerous in set pieces, a few saves here and there, and Cancelo and Stones have recently just absolutely smashed it. So perhaps Diaz. So Ben, I'm gonna captain the boy, man. So if you want to go hand in hand, I'm down for it.
Yeah. I mean, I was literally thinking the exact thought process you went through. Of it was Stones one week, Cancelo another week. Surely it's Diaz's turn to get a choo.
And he's assured to play, isn't he? If there's someone who's going to keep their place all the time in defence, I think it's going to be Diaz.
Definitely.
Josh, are you going for a different game, United against Arsenal, or are you avoiding that one?
I'm not going defender. I could never. It's not happening. I'm sorry, boys. That's just too poor for me. FPL is about the attacking side of it. Yeah, it was Son. I'm looking at my app. It is Son currently. It's not going to stay Son now. Kane's out injured. It's between. I don't know. I don't see City scoring a lot of goals against Sheffield United. Sheffield United are a lot better defensively than West Brom, although they will score probably 2 or 3. I'm tempted by Salah. I just don't know. It's just no one is playing really well right now. So I can understand why the boys obviously going defender picks, keeping it assured, like Ray said. Maybe Bruno. I can't. He's playing away. United don't lose away from home really, and I can see us. We always tear it up at the Emirates, so why not?
Easy.
Let me confirm that. Last 4 results at the Emirates Stadium: 3-0, 2-0, 2-0, 3-0. Please, Captain Bruno. Please go ahead.
Yeah, that was all without Bruno Fernandes, mate. You wait until he comes over there.
That was about party. Kyla says, could Lookman be a good captain for this game week? I'll tell you, absolutely yes. That is my gem of the week this week. I told Josh the other time, Sterling against West Brom away. Those guys have considered close to 40 goals in like 8 home games. So definitely, I'd actually have him as a differential. So who's your gem of the week, Ben?
My gem of the week is going to be Harvey Barnes, the Leicester asset, which I should have brought in instead of Maddison, but Josh being like, "Oh, he gets dodgy assist," made me get Maddison instead. I think Harvey Barnes has looked good. He gets constant returns. I think in the last 5 weeks he's got a lot of returns. So I'll go Harvey Barnes because I think Leicester could do some work against Leeds.
Josh.
Before today, I've been looking at Mateus Pereira. They have 2 good fixtures in their next 2. He's obviously performed very well in the double game week. If anything's going to happen in West Brom's team, it's going to be going through him. Set pieces. I like the look of him, to be honest. He's around that 5.5 million mark. And obviously I have El Ghazi, and for some reason he's just been dropped out of that Villa team after the COVID outbreak that they had, which is really frustrating. He looked like their best player before it, so he's coming out for me this week, and it's definitely going to have to be a hit after this week because it's just been a shambles. Kevin De Bruyne getting injured is probably the worst thing to happen to me this year.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's all over the place right now. Like there's usually a time where everyone has the same players, but this time around people will have different players. So that's a good thing. Ray, any differential?
Yeah, I like Digne. I mean, he's 5.3% owned, and he could possibly play out of position. But even if he doesn't, I mean, he's just a phenomenal attacking fullback. So, yeah, I think Digne is definitely going to set up opportunities, and he's on most set pieces as well in regards to corners. So, yeah, Digne is my pick.
Awesome, and I appreciate it. Ben, 3 players that will score this week?
3 players that will score this week. I mean, it's uncertain, but we'll go for Edison Cavani.
Shame on you, huh?
Things you love to hear.
We'll go Calvert-Lewin, and we'll go for Diaz.
Yes. Josh?
Bruno Fernandes. I think. Look at them! I got them on ropes.
I've already counted 3 goals against Arsenal. Wow, okay. Bruno.
Bruno. I think Mo Salah's going to come back to scoring form. I can't see him blanking again. It'll be crazy. And let's go Kyle Walker if he's fit.
Okay. Ray, 3 players that will score?
Calvert-Lewin, Sterling, and I think Salah's going to bang one in because he's looked good in the last 2 games, meaning the FA Cup game as well. So, those are my 3.
Okay, and a team that will definitely keep a clean sheet, Ben?
Man City. Man City.
Josh?
Man United.
Man United. Ray?
City and Fulham, actually, if I can pick 2. But yeah,
City and Fulham, another clean sheet for Areola. Let's go, man. I'm winning this thing this season. I'm winning this FPL. Another clean sheet for Areola. So just because, do we have any picture on screen? No. Just because Josh and Ben are really frustrating me, the 3 players that will definitely score, Saka, Lacazette, and Odegaard from the bench. So
they can score for their under 23s. Let them know for the first.
I like to see Glenn say that again without laughing.
No, I'm laughing just so Josh thinks it's a joke. But you know what? I'd like Joe to score a penalty. That's what I'd like. Thank you everyone for watching. Shout out to Ben and Josh for coming on. Make sure you check out their channel, FPL Graduates. Check their TikTok. They're everywhere. Twitch. They're on Instagram doing lives. They're on Twitter. Just check them everywhere. Ray should be posting some stuff on his channel too. So go and follow him on Twitter and you can see whatever he has coming up. So thank you for watching. Keep staying safe and I'll catch up with you guys later.